What if you could hear the future? Not see it, not predict it with data, but actually hear the sounds of tomorrow, today? Would you use that power for good? That's the question Evan, Maya, and Jonah faced. It all started at an abandoned train platform, a place lost to time. But for them, it became a window into the future. They began hearing things faint at first, then clearer. A siren wailing exactly 24 hours before it screamed past their apartment. The distinct shatter of glass from a warehouse a day before a break-in. They were hearing tomorrow's echoes. Their first thought was to document it. They created a meticulous log, matching each future sound to its present-day event. It was like solving a puzzle where the pieces were scattered across time. They felt like pioneers, standing on the edge of a discovery that could change everything. The power was intoxicating, and with great power comes great responsibility, right? Or so they thought. The temptation to do more than just listen, to act, became overwhelming. Their first attempt was small. They heard the frantic barking of a dog and the screech of tires. The next day, they located the street corner from the ambient sounds and managed to call the dog away. Just moments before a car sped through the intersection, they saved a life. The feeling was euphoric, a rush of heroism. They believed they had a gift, a duty to intervene and prevent the small tragedies the world overlooked. They started escalating their interventions, trying to stop a mugging they overheard, warning a shop owner about a fire. Each success fueled their confidence, making them feel like saviors, like modern-day oracles. But the future is a fragile thing, and when you start pulling at its threads, it begins to unravel in ways you can't predict. They overheard the sounds of a minor traffic accident on a bridge fender bender, nothing more. Thinking they could prevent it, they called in a fake bomb threat to close the bridge. No one would get hurt, and traffic would be diverted. Simple. Except it wasn't. The diverted traffic flooded the routes to the city's ferry terminal. The sudden, unexpected surge of cars and people caused chaos. An overloaded ferry rushed into service to handle the crowds, suffered a catastrophic engine failure. The sounds they heard next weren't of a minor crash, but of a disaster. Screams, splintering wood, the horrifying roar of water. They hadn't prevented a tragedy. They had created a much worse one. The weight of their failure was crushing. The guilt was a physical presence, a ghost haunting their every moment. They had played God, and the consequences were written in the headlines of newspapers they were too afraid to read. The world they were trying to save was now suffering because of them. That's when the sounds from the future began to change. The familiar cacophony of life, the distant traffic, the bird song, the hum of the city started to fade. It was like someone was slowly turning down the volume on tomorrow. The specific sounds they had been logging, the echoes of future events, were the first to go. The future was erasing itself, correcting their interference. What replaced them was something far more terrifying than any siren or crash. Silence. A profound, a natural, global silence. Imagine listening for the sounds of the next 24 hours and hearing absolutely nothing. No cars, no voices, no wind, no life, just a vast, empty void. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was a scream. It was the sound of non-existence. As the silence from the future grew deeper, their own world started to feel thin. They became paranoid, seeing shadows in their periphery. Then, they noticed them, men in dark, impeccably clean suits. They never spoke, never approached. They just stood across the street, or at the other end of the train platform, or in the back of a coffee shop, just watching, always watching. Were they from the future? Were they agents of whatever force was trying to fix the timeline? Or were they just a manifestation of their shared, fracturing sanity? The pressure was immense. Evan became reclusive, Maya obsessed over the logs, and Jonah just stared into space, lost. The bond that had united them was now the chain that was dragging them all down together. They argued, they blamed, they fell apart. The heroic trio was now just three broken people, trapped in a silent future of their own making. The men in suits were a constant reminder of their catastrophic failure. The silence from the future was no longer just an absence of sound. It was an active, encroaching entity. It felt like it was seeping into their present, muffling the world around them. One day, Evan pointed out that the birds outside their window weren't singing anymore. Maya noticed the traffic outside seemed quieter than usual. The silence was bleeding through. Then came the final day. They gathered one last time at the old train platform, the place where it all began. They didn't need to listen for the future anymore. They could feel it. The silence was no longer 24 hours away. It was here. It settled over the city like a thick blanket of snow, smothering everything. The world didn't end with a bang or even a whimper. It ended with a total and absolute absence of sound. The timeline hadn't just been corrected, it had been deleted, collapsed into a single, silent, infinite moment. And in that final, terrifying silence, Evan, Maya, and Jonah simply ceased to be. The world ended not because of a monster or an asteroid, but because three ordinary people tried to fix it. What do you think? Was their intervention doomed from the start? Or is there a way to change the future without breaking it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoy diving into stories that make you question everything, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next one.